Hi there. Hello first. You may be listening to this message fatigued, feeling peace and fear, and feeling that time is passing you by. To the individual who occasionally wonders if they have accomplished enough, if they are still relevant, if there is anything left to say, or if all is said and done, I want to chat with you today, not on preconceived beliefs or academic literature, but on my personal observations of hundreds of clients I've treated with who struggle with anxiety at 50, 60, or older. Nothing new about that. The only difference is that the mind remains racing while the body slows down. In the absence of the body, thoughts persist, that uneasiness, inner emptiness, and misery that arises when you need a break comes from there. Definitely not casual today. In this debate, two options are discussed to resolve anxiety in people 50, 60, and older, because worries vanish and change with age. What wounded you because you lack time? You now worry about time passing. First and perhaps most important lesson, giving up the race against time. Time followed you as you worked, raised a family, and achieved your goals without your awareness. After making place for yourself, you can't stop racing about in your head. Running from anything could be memories, remorse, what you had, are, or missed. Run from what you can't change. In relative calendar stillness, maturity anxieties manifest. Taught us that time is a companion, not a race, and should be lived, not conquered. He will chase you until you quit. Women in their 60s have informed me, "Doctor, I'm bored with life." Peace to you if you chose him. They tell me amazing stories when I ask about their activities. They were loved, prevailed, fought silently, and hid with others. Naturally, that won't happen. Anxiety makes us cherish intangibles. It makes us think that titles and accomplishments define life value. To goals, acknowledgments. Not true either. Life is about being present and gracefully accepting each moment. Ignore the present when time is short. For now, you have nothing. There's a bustle of action right now, and neither past nor future exists. Just breathing. Because, the future is always scary. It describes what would happen if I was alone. Can I get my money? I go into financial trouble. What happens? Saying yes to everything changes you. Realistic thinking is all you lose. Living in the moment doesn't mean neglecting tomorrow. Living is pointless. After the incident, tomorrow won't be better if today is chaotic. No special recipe or strategy can help you overcome anxiety. Choosing to stop fighting time is personal. No winning, advancing, or understanding is required. You must recognize that time is not an enemy. At 50 or 60, your goal is no longer to keep alive, but to live each day with awareness, to never carry resentment or terror against the past, to relish the present moment, to take it calmly, to feel the air on your skin, and to see the sun rise. Anxiety steals your present. If you let your imagination run wild, you may find a way to relax. But we want peace, which is allowed. Stop trying to beat the clock, to use time to your advantage. Time does not condemn, instruct, deprive, order, rush, or ask you to pause. It passes. When one stops, pauses, silences, and halt occur. Locations to unwind and breathe deeply. To overcome worry, you must learn to listen to it when it tells it to take a break. This reminds us that life is deep and fast. Before rushing, gently examine yourself. Calm down. Please forgive yourself for thinking it wasn't. Here you are. Furthermore, peace is only possible now. You deserve to enjoy the time left without worrying, rushing, or feeling guilty after all you've been through. Second, don't feel like you have control everything to overcome worry as you become older. Our long-held belief is that things will go awry unless we take charge. It will go wrong if we watch. Everything will fall apart unless we act now. We subconsciously turn love into attentiveness, accountability into leadership, and care into command. This will make you feel protected when you're only pretending to watch it, and all we see, it was possible to suffer. However, controlling is a subtle fear. We don't have enough when we question and want to leave. At 50, 60, or more, the body needs rest, but the mind wants to lead. Their life, their grandchildren's decisions. Anything from home organization to partner health, to finances to memories to the future to others' perceptions. People's need to control Everything fosters anxiety. Many people have encouraged me to relax because something bad will happen. I respond calmly. Unwinding doesn't matter. Why? Because you never do it. Command is illusion. Not everything is under our control. Not the weather, our health, our sentiments, or our minds. Absolutes exist. We just live with anxiety anytime we try. Concern comes from wanting reassurance. Please tell us of the next actions when, so how, with whom, why? Real life lacks such intricacies. You must trust life, not control it. You observed it young. Some of your plans worked. Talking about stuff that didn't happen. You tried to avoid the same fate again. Still, you're here. AM part history and wisdom, proving that letting go doesn't destroy the world. Give up control, it traps you. Forget about your plans coming true. Avoid the folly of solving every possible problem. Stop thinking no one will do it right. If you do it, everything doesn't have to be perfect. Not everyone will follow your lead. More significantly, you're not an expert. Trying to control uncontrollable things causes worry. Caring and controlling are very different, and serenity comes from accepting unpredictability. Uninterrupted companionship is compassion. We control because we fear losing. The mother of all care is love. People have anxiety-related control. Pent-up fear causes worry. One finds equilibrium when they can influence without dominating. You can advise but not decide, which one can adore without owning. That liberates you, because controlling is hard. Even when released, you retain power. It revitalizes. Many parents worry that their children won't need as much care. Unconsciously try to control their life, decisions, relationships, and trajectories. However, kids run away because they've achieved freedom, not because they stop caring. Your triumph also extends to that. Trusting others' procedures can help calm you. Accept life's natural flow. The universe will handle the rest. You don't need to do everything. Letting go calms us despite our concerns. Mental quiet, lightness, and clarity. Allow yourself to breathe and enjoy your remaining life. Anxiety is the ego's hopeless attempt to understand the unknown. When you accept life's enigmaticism, you see its beauty since you don't need everything to be happy. Allow things to happen. Do your job, but let life happen. You accomplished plenty. You contributed and changed things. You cared for yourself. Your faith is needed. Trustworthiness requires tenacity. Accepting with trust that there is a greater power, that some things can work out without you, and that you are not indispensable. As one gains mastery, the mind stops trying the impossible. Acceptance and quiet reduce anxiety. Just because you're stranded, allow yourself to enjoy the moment without stressing about details. Enjoy your feelings without overthinking. Let yourself unwind guilt-free. When you stop fighting uncertainty, you find calm because you manage life. Trust, breathe, live. The third tip for conquering anxiety at this age. Let go of self-guilt and forgive yourself for unchangeable things. Many feel guilty for decades. It doesn't yell, but it's there, waiting for the night to gently remind you of things you'd rather forget. Body aging begins at 50, 60, or beyond. Yes, but guilt-free thinking speeds it up. Because shame consumes your energy, makes you relive fictitious scenes, connects you to the past, and prevents you from enjoying the present. Doctor, I keep concentrating on what I did or did not do, despite everyone's encouragement, because the past is past. They get my response. Your inability to forgive yourself, not the past, holds you back. Many of our worries arise from the past, not the present, from impulsive decisions and heartless memories of past mistakes. We tried our best, but now we think we can do better. What I'm saying is obvious. You did do with your information, resources, awareness, and power at that moment. That's why you know more. A lesson replaces a mistake. Unfortunately, guilt understands evolution. The guilt cycle continues. However, you failed. Judging yourself over the past prevents you from living in the present, and guilt prevents recovery. Some people still feel the emotional and psychological effect of actions made 2 or 3 decades ago, such as being an unsatisfactory parent, abandoning a kid, growing furious, leaving, or carrying a huge load without being asked. Forgiving is remembering. Forgiveness means accepting without bitterness that the past is unchangeable. As I describe it, staring at it compassionately and saying, enough punishment. You can change your reaction, but not what happened. Realizing regret doesn't repair anything. It simply delays it. You can comprehend, value, and learn it. Guilt destroys. Forgiveness develops. And doing it alone, you relax. Think clearly and worry goes hungry. Some people never let go of their feelings. They feel obligated to their parents, children, and life. Life only asks you to learn. Nobody owes you, not even yourself. You see, if you're still asking for forgiveness at 50, 60, or 70, you're not living fully. Have you met a mother who takes responsibility for her kids' mistakes? Men who make economic policy? Who keeps crying? Romantics who died tragically? When I ask what they mean by self-blame, I'm delighted I'm paying. You already paid with the pain. I say, adding that they learned, you must recover and pay. Forgiveness is an emotional process of viewing the past through the present. That self-awareness did what it needed to do, and the simple statement is freeing. Sometimes anxiety seems as remorse. It guides you through discussions and silences, as if finding the right information from the past could change the outcome. History ignores it. No one will listen to you now. You should also modify your speech. Excuse my mistake. Let it be known I existed. Ignore that. I grabbed something. On my mistakes. It's too late to apologize. You know, peace matters. It breaks your connection to the past, even though you don't know what happened. Unlinking that chain reduces anxiety. Because guilt holds us connected to our past wrongs, forgiving is the best way to move on. Isn't forgiveness hard sometimes? But I forgive myself for loving until I couldn't, being afraid despite knowing better and not knowing more. The easy times when you can say that without cracking are when concern grows. Past actions are forgiven. As for completion, calms down before leaving. The final lesson is about moving on and accepting your history, acknowledging that your mistakes shaped you rather than defined you. You should live lightly, kindly, and gratefully and punish yourself at this age. Forgiving affects your connection with the past, but not the past itself. Accepting your worth eliminates anxiety. Stop thinking about the future and live in the now to overcome anxiety. The fourth tip. Sounds easy, right? But consider all the times you've been miserable because your worries didn't come true. How often have you slept thinking, what if? Instead of how about? My health is at jeopardy. What if my funds are low? When alone, what if I'm wrong? Will tomorrow not happen? Yes, silent and dangerous anxiousness. By your 50s or 60s, you should have mastered calm life. But your brain has no idea of age. Just imagine danger to feel worried. Doesn't always yell. Sometimes whispers with mental imagery. Presents worst-case scenarios. Forecasts disasters. Disrupts your peace. Interestingly, those things rarely happen. However, you have endured them 1,000 times in your head. The power of anticipation is life-changing. Insignificant complaints make you fear ghosts you can see alone. While planning, pay attention to current events. Futures are unknown. World events are happening now. Living for the now is pointless if you miss it, since tomorrow will still be today. Anxiety prevents you from living today. This habit involves thinking ahead to address what's left. People often say, "Doctor, I never get to relax because I'm always worrying about what's." My response is always the same, something basic. Future intellect survives, not enjoys. This age group, we can no longer waste our lives planning for the future. After some time on Earth, you've seen everything, problems. When they don't show up, all that dread is wasted. Fourth, one must retrain their thinking to stop rushing. This begins with a simple but profound: living today. Living in the now doesn't mean forgetting tomorrow, not experiencing it beforehand. Interest is described by it. It symbolizes harmony. You can prepare without worrying. Think ahead but stay alert. Don't allow future thoughts control you. Your failure fears keep showing up. Another query: what if it works? It's feasible, but your fear focuses on disasters rather than marvels. Taking things day by day will show you that life is never that bad. Insufferable future burden on present. For monitoring, that 9 out of 10 of your darkest nightmares never come true. Additionally, the remaining 90% is handled well, surprising you. Why stay vigilant? Why attempt if being unhappy is pointless? The future breeds anxiety, but the greatest time to fight it is now. Everything is safe now. No damage can come from being indoors. If you don't breathe and return to the present, fear, doubt, and anguish may follow. Focus on your hands, surroundings, sounds, air, and yourself. Nothing terrible is happening now. Your trip has only begun mentally. Return home. Your home is now, in the present. Worry has nowhere to hide. At 50, 60, or older, you understand a future is unpredictable. Existence is predetermined but lived. Plans change, people leave. Not unjust. This is how it is. You can let your biggest concerns cause worry even if they don't happen. Consider how many times you've fretted about something that never happened, feared the dark, and been surprised by life every day. Learning to be quiet by practice shows that the mind exaggerates. Stop worrying about the future. Accept your position, while letting time work. The issue arises now. If it comes, you'll have lived peacefully. Anxiety signals trouble. Wisdom addresses you. Be patient and adapt. Daily life is the most wonderful way to feel freedom. Not because you know what's going to happen, but because you didn't plan a bit. Calming effects include a slower pulse, deeper breath, and wider eyes. Consider opportunities instead of tragedies. You suddenly understand something most people take a long time to. Present is all that's needed. Excellent. My story is about a woman. Elena trusted me with her privacy years ago. Elena was 62 when we met. Even when smiling, the formidable woman was grieving. What she said still sticks with me. I keep thinking about this. Doctor, I can't sleep. I'm bored thinking. I feel exhausted every time I stand up. My hands shake and my heart races for no reason. I'm anxious but can't explain why. She told me it happened when her children left home, and she worked. When did that happen? Because I remained long. I didn't know how to spend my time with him. No time to think earlier. At present, I spend daily. I like that expression because anxiety comes from not having enough to do, but from not knowing how to handle stillness. Elena wasn't sick. Her surroundings were empty. Fears, remorse, and dreadful futures formed in that vacant mind. We found her anxiousness was severe at the start of our sessions. Irrational concerns of the future, control issues, shame over my motherhood, and a desire to prepare for the worst. This was reinforced whenever he thought about the future as an exercise. What matters is my health now. He couldn't stop thinking when he first tried. Each attempt to calm her raised strain. Week after week, minor changes appeared. I spent every morning staring at the trees, listening to the breeze, and watching people. I would not bring a watch or phone. She started walking with tense shoulders and a rushing mind, until the day came. She returned to work with a new view and said, "Today I slowly, without thinking about anything, and for the first time in time I felt that It was her first success. Miniature, but huge. Considering her need for control, we proceed. Elena wished her children would emulate her daily. Following her advice, she never erred. However, an anxious mother's timetable is unrealistic. This irritated her. Mastery frightens, not loves, she said in her journal. Genuine desire requires trust. Trusting is accepting that everyone has a unique journey, not disappearing. The toughest part was remorse afterward. Tearfully recounted earlier incidents in which she felt unjust to her children or made actions out of fear rather than malice. Would you feel the same if you could go back in time with what you know? Question her. No, she said. The following demonstrate her learning. Avoid penalizing those who took the effort to learn. Elena felt a little self-forgiveness. Nonverbal communication. She learned to talk lightly and relax instead of being so hard on herself. Though faulty, she accepted her story as true. She told me something that hit home. Doctor, it hurts me to realize I did something wrong and haven't forgiven myself. I realized something that day. On several occasions, her final stage was taking things one day at a time, because worry comes from thinking about the future. I asked her to jot down 3 things that offered her peace, Small things like coffee. No idea occurred to me while watching a movie. Contacting my grandchild made me laugh. Elena returned to work calmly 6 months later. She spoke more slowly and didn't need to say everything. Neither the future nor the watch were her life. Time, her past, her children, and most importantly, herself had passed through her. Before leaving, she said something I forgot. I'm afraid. Only patience is lost, no drugs. Your statement was accurate. Self-love at its best is patience. Being confident is believing you can improve every day, even if today is bad. Elena, the heroine, reflects many people who no longer feel need to prove anything, but nevertheless feel shame, worry, and erroneous beliefs. Remember her teachings. When you forgive, trust, and live in the moment, time and stress no longer matter. Saying no and setting boundaries is the fifth technique for conquering anxiety at this age. Many find it one of the hardest despite appearances, especially for those who have spent their life helping, fulfilling, and caring for others. It was long believed that loving required giving up everything. To answer yes was to be a great friend, son, dad, mother, and person. You were taught that saying no showed inconsideration, self-centeredness, or emotional distance. Thus, marginally, you took on undeserved responsibilities and carried undeserved weights while you lived for others and disregarded yourself. Among the subtlest worries, no limits, because you always disappoint yourself when it counts, when everyone is counting on you, and when you think you can't fail anyone else. Aged 50 or older, your body naturally accumulates emotional and mental stress as you age. Anxiety may indicate that you can no longer handle everything alone. Many people have apologized, but don't know how to say no. I tell them saying no makes you more self-aware, not crueler. When they ask why, when you accept something you don't want, you're rejecting your own wishes. Conflict causes anxiety, anger, and tiredness. Set limits to build respect, not walls. Learning to defend your emotional space requires isolation. Get closer to yourself instead of detaching from others. Often appears when the ghost senses an invasion. When others invade one's time, house, and thoughts, a bodily response occurs. Though harmless, excess makes it hard for your back and heart to sleep. Too much caring, listening, helping, and worrying, of being outside yet not inside. Like emptying your thoughts of past hurts. Saying no is beneficial. Save your strength for what matters. You needn't explain. Unspoken quiet might be tenderness. Many parents feel awful because they can't help their older children. My counsel to them, you were intended to help them walk, not carry them forever, means release too. Love requires self-confidence. Some grandparents feel bad for not being with their grandchildren 24/7. Plus, they don't realize that taking care of oneself is crucial to supporting family. Saying no takes love. This gives you self-respect, calm, and balance. Occasionally, we show compassion by giving. We also believe that giving our all will make others love us more. Love is that. I'm scared. Worries of not being enough, being rejected, and giving your all. Buildup of dread causes anxiety. Saying no without shame starts a fearless life. Freedom from pleasure frees the mind, relaxes the body, and expands the spirit. You can't be everywhere at this age. You should live in harmony. Being kind to everyone is no longer required. Self-esteem matters. Your illusion of being in control has ended. Focus on what matters. Life stages are evident. Maturity involves work completion, learning, emotional wellness, conversation, and stillness. Never letting things deplete your energy is like saying yes to tranquility. You consistently push yourself to the limit. Each time you emphasize health guilt-free. By saying no, I've helped many elderly people calm down and clear their brains. No to uninvited guests. I refuse to discuss about whining and exhausting commitments. A loving no beats 1,000 fatigued yes any day. No obstacles exist at the limit. Involve self-acceptance. When you perfect self-hugging, anxiety cannot thrive. Saying no shows self-respect, not selfishness. Remember that. A healthy amount of self-respect can fight anxiety at any age. Anxiety Removal Lesson 6 is self-reliance elimination. I know saying it might hurt because letting go is hard, Realizing you can't keep doing what you love is the first step to letting go. Even after trying to fix things with love, patience, and effort, you must let go. At 50, 60, or older, young people are knowledgeable. You know life always fulfills your wishes. Things happen without permission. Characters that change, stories that end, and paths that spread. Avoid them if you must. Anxiety peaks during resistance. Affixation causes uneasiness. By demanding control over your domain, the illusion that with enough work, you can return to the past or stop change. You cannot do so. You can be powerful and loving, but there are other methods. I've seen elderly people in terror, clinging their little life, their well-being, relationship status, autonomy, and family role. Their unconscious need to grasp on makes them tired and miserable, more tense. You're not losing by letting. Learning to let go means accepting that not everything you lose is lost. Sometimes it's liberating. We love less when we let go. It means loving without getting. Parents who witness their children act differently may find it hard to let things and people be. Love must turn to trust, although it's natural to protect, lead, and warn them. Why? Because you won't have time to live your own if you're always worrying about others. I've seen women worry because their kids don't call as much and cry in silence, thinking they no longer love them. But love changes shape. The issue isn't kids leaving. Emptiness bothers the nervous mind, which hates it. It wants thoughts, worries, and control. Wise people breathe in silence. Learn to say, I'm not up to this anymore, and accept it. Why? Instead of being weak, you're emotionally attached to things that aren't your duty. It's like fighting the wind. Letting go means quitting. Faith means surrendering to life's wonder. The more you cling to your ideal self or life, the harder it is to let go of the past, accept your body, and end a relationship. Even so, every loss has a deeper meaning. Release what you no longer need to make place for more. When your past seems incomprehensible, you feel anxious. Finally breaking the habit without guilt is comforting. Keep this information. Not all outcomes fail, may have achieved its purpose. Although they ended, some relationships taught you about love. Even if they left, they proved their worth. They strengthened you, and letting go shows appreciation. It is reflecting on what happened and thanking what you freed. I occasionally believe retaining anything is possible, shows resilience, but true strength is releasing without giving in, learning to let go gracefully, knowing that what is for you will fade and provide you wisdom. At 60, you realize some people win and some lose. Trading happens every moment. Though it subtracts, it gives more. You can also spend your days observing. Accepting impermanence reduces anxiety. The idea that nothing lasts forever should bring alertness, not despair. Every second is more important because of it. Giving up on things you can't control is another aspect of departing. Get off your bum and mend what you've made. Enough with irrelevant stories. We should enjoy silence. At your lowest point, take a deep breath and remember you're alive. Right now, peace exists. If something troubles you today, you can only find peace by asking, is it on me? Stop carrying it if the response is unfavorable. Let time and life happen. Who it may belong to, your soul can hold anything. We created it for experience, learning, and release. If you do it even a little, you'll notice you are relaxing. You should also know that behind every genuine is a quiet person. A few years ago, I coined a phrase, composed by Eckhart Tolle. For much of our lives, we believe we were responsible for everything. When we reach 50 or 60, an unseen power begins to affect others, the family's destiny, the children's choices, our own history, future, fate, and the whole. Tired of worrying about things it can't control, but it keeps doing it. We think about things that could go wrong, should be remembered, and can be avoided. Your anxious mind creates new worries just when things are settling down. Thinking your actions will determine the outcome is worrying. How frequently do you feel nervous or guilty when you're asked to mend something? Marriage success doesn't mean the kid did, right? Since your body ceased responding to the everything when it's planned, the anxious mind always feels indebted. It always complains about lacking or needing more. Exhaustion ensues. Big, emotive, The terrible reality is that you're mostly responsible for almost everything. Give what you can. Love, dedication, and purpose cannot change the consequences, reactions, time, or trajectory of events outside your control. Your attitude is totally your responsibility. Due to events, just that. You feel free from the world's weight, everyone else's expectations, the past that never returns, and the future that hasn't come yet. If you possess that statement, it will calm your nerves. When your mind races, do it silently again. About everything is in my hands. Watch what happens. After losing control, your body relaxes, heart rate rises, and breathing returns to normal. Have you learned that you should cohabit quietly with the universe? Not control it? Stop attempting to modify reality, and worry disappears. Things happen when they should, and when you understand that life moves at its own pace, you may give and receive easily. Faith that everything happened for a reason, despite stops and delays. If I worry, I feel like I'm irresponsible. Patients tell doctors. I tell them worrying improves you, makes you uneasy. Being present shows responsibility better than anxiousness. Being present lets you do what's needed without stress. You move confidently. Peace makes you more effective than anxiety. Anxious minds imagine 1,000 futures. A calm mind creates the present. You must start now to alter things, knowing that almost nothing depends on us and that there are powers greater than ourselves in the universe gives us humility. Chance fate, others' choices, and time. That's liberating, not discouraging, since it lets you relax. Without constant surveillance, you can relax and have fun. For a mind this age, less chatter and more faith, less regulation and more commitment, less anxiety and more self-confidence are optimal. Applying this teaching will yield something beautiful. Things are how they are, without any thought. Realizing that life goes on despite of your efforts to change it, and that you can't control everything and must let go of the one to do so relieves concern. Thus, the next time your heart races, your thoughts turn to horror, or you worry excessively, remember this while breathing. You act like everything is on you, even when you have little control. Repeat it like a mantra until your thoughts rest. Realization with love is healthiest. The 7th anxiety reduction lesson is to accept your body and age without shame or guilt. Around 50 or 60, the body changes. Its response changed. Its operation changed. It was different before. What was solid is suddenly fragile. Skin changes, muscles tired, vision diminishes, and heart rate vary daily. Plus, new feelings soon raise concerns. Doctor, hundreds have asked me everything. Is something wrong? Yes, things are changing. Not everyone who changes is wrong. Change is the most obvious evidence of life. Adult anxiety often manifests as body fear. Any evidence of disease is suspicious. When do minor illnesses become major? My mind keeps wondering if this is the end. Because your body can hear your thoughts, your mind will keep imagining past events until it's too weary to do anything but act on its plans. Concern penetrates everything, tightens muscles, slows breathing, and raises heart rate. The body is a threat. Inspiration, life, and transportation are there. Changes don't affect your ownership. No matter the fall, love, suffering, or joy, you were there. You deserve respect, rather than criticism. Looking in the mirror and seeing cruelty causes anxiety. While a wrinkle shows time, it also shows the smiles that created it. Looking at your hands, you can feel the skin thinned, but also see the gentle touches form over time. Even if your hair is standing on end, you notice how many stories you have. Being appreciative means accepting one's body. Gratitude can reduce anxiety. Giving thanks helps you stop complaining. Your body wants perfection, affection, fearless listening, respect, and patience. I've had patients who check their health daily, check their BP 3 times, and research ailments online, and every symptom destroys their tranquility. I usually argue the problem is mental, not physical. What angustized mean is what you feel. Ache becomes a threat, a bother a sentence, a thorn a tragedy. Anxiety will conceal if you adjust your interpretation, mood, or physique with love. Accepting yourself means neglecting yourself. Take yourself from love, not fear. Eating healthily to respect yourself, relaxing to deserve it, and moving to appreciate your body, not to avoid illness. When you accept your body, uncover something great. Physical calmness. The tension is anxious. The breathing is peaceful. Sometimes think youth is associated with well-being, yet maturity has beauty the young body knows. Relaxation, knowledge, and kindness. Story behind each scar. Every wrinkle teaches. Each agony affirms your presence. Alive. It is. Human. Defying reality eliminates anxiety. Your body is involved. Can influence how you spend the years, but not the years. Love your body for its abilities, not its appearance. Thank each organ. Since many cannot, each cell and movement is important. Your body ages to teach you to let go of superficiality and accept the core. The crucial is not skin, glands, or physical force, but inner tranquility. The body and soul are young. So reconciling with your body means reconciling with life. It's admitting that perfection doesn't exist, that beauty fluctuates, and that value develops over time. So be kind to yourself. Self-touch without fear. Talk to your body lovingly. Accepting it teaches your mind to settle down. The peace you seek outside starts unnoticed. Inside it blossoms. Please hear Carmen's tale. A 67-year-old woman with sad, shaking hands came to my consultation one afternoon. She appeared graceful, meticulous, and correct in every motion, but she was fragile. She scarcely sat. I'm not the eye in my images, and I recognize myself, doctor. My wrinkles remind me that time one. That phrase struck my spirit because he spoke with vanity and fear. Fear of disappearance. Worry about life without her. Concern about disappearing. Carmen taught for 40 years. Her regimen fell apart after she retired. Her once full days turned hushed. The mind cruelly spoke to that quiet. You're useful. Your use has ended. Your body ages. She obsessed over her body. She checked her reflection every morning for flaws. His every expression was defeat. Each cane, warning, and Tiny took over his existence. He slept, had palpitations. He had trouble repeatedly, thinking he was sick. The medicine always worked. His mind was tired. Asked him, how can seeing in the mirror hurt? It was deep when she stated, I'm the woman I use like I can't get. Carmen lost her identity, not beauty. Activity, attractiveness, and efficiency defined her value for years. He didn't recognize himself without that when time demanded to rest. We started with something simple to address his anxiety, not from his body, but from the gap between his image and his reality. Watching his physique without judgment. He should look in the mirror and thank, not criticize. Legs, keep going. Eyes, let me see. Thanks for safeguarding me all these years. It was shameful and almost funny, but that practice gradually shifted its perspective. The intellect cannot determine when you. Stopping judgment eliminates fear. Carmen reconnected with her body. She walked without counting calories, enjoyed the sun without worrying about spots, and dressed for comfort, not approval. Doctor, I hadn't felt my body thus mine years. At one session, she said something that impacted me. My grandchildren and I at the beach. They played, ran, beckoned me, and I took off my shoes and walked with them, initially ashamed. Legs, wrinkles, aging. But then one of my grandchildren grabbed my hand and said, Grandma, you're when you laugh. I realized that then. My body was old but alive. No truth is bigger than that. So we evaluate life by looks, but by feeling. Carmen stopped fighting the mirror after that. In a notepad, she wrote everything she loved about herself. I scribbled something I remembered. Lines don't erase my past. They bring it back. Weeks later, he told me something simple that summed up his transformation. I don't care if I look older. My mind rests when I don't fight my body. He no longer needed sleeping pills due to anxiety. Missed some symptoms. He gained trust. Most importantly, he loved his body unconditionally. Carmen realized what most don't, that the body is an enemy teaches the illusion of immortality. That true beauty, which never gets in skin, is in your serene reflection. She said, Doctor, now I'm afraid of getting old. I fear not living long enough. The statement says it all. Because anxiety makes you fear time, whereas calm teaches you to enjoy it. Your value has decreased if your physique has changed and you are no longer who you were. It only means life is fostering unconditional self-love. Wrinkles are pages, scars are lessons. Each cane represents resistance. The body betrays you. It gently reminds you to relax your spirit. Look at yourself with affection, like a loved one. That nervousness was dread of not being recognized. When you reconnect with yourself, calm will be your home. The 8th way to reduce concern is to accept what you cannot change and practice self-compassion. Let me begin with a very therapeutic sentence. Peace comes when we stop resisting what is and begin to love what exists, explains Louisa Hay. At some point, due to reality resistance, most adult fear comes from the future, making that assertion a requirement. To years, losses, changes, and inevitable. We fight time our whole lives against past mistakes, others' acts, and what didn't go our way. Even if you see it, that relentless effort will strain your mind and soul. Accepting is not giving. My existence includes accepting what happens and not struggling with it. One phrase can relieve years of stress and concern, because when you stop resisting, the energy you sought to control or deny becomes peace. I've seen older folks in constant worry, waiting for a kid to pass, the body, or life to change. They miss the beauty of what they have while waiting. Accepting is wise. Implies that imperfection may be attractive, that everything arrives and leaves on time, that every failure is instructive. Accepting changes doesn't mean changing who you are, so you can accept what will happen. Problems don't always generate anxiety. These feelings stem from rejection. Always want things to be fine, that there is no pain or motion, but life doesn't work. Faking suffering is part of that trend. Acceptance relaxes mind, body, and soul. Everything being flawless won't eliminate your uneasiness. You must stop demanding life changes. However, acceptance comes with something else. Compassion. Pity is kindness. Understanding without judgment is compassion. It tenderly understands your anxieties without punishing you and recognizes your shortcomings without shaming you. Some elderly persons are mistreated. They were criticized for their abilities, for what they forget and hurt. Compassion, the hand, relaxes, but mental concern increases. It means I'm making the best of what I have. This is enough. Improve your craft or be yourself. Accept your rhythm. Forgive your tiredness and value your past. The difference between guilt and accountability is huge. Guilt punishes and limits, whereas responsibility promotes growth through love. The caring choose to live without inner strife. Many seniors get because they feel useless and can't work as hard. Many women don't feel seen because they're different. Life does not degrade you. It promotes reevaluation. Who you are, your calmness, and your knowledge determine your worth, not your accomplishments, with the tranquility you create. Reminding yourself that life is a learning experience will help you accept your changes. A new individual emerges after each transformation. Wisdom, liberty, and self-awareness increased. Accepting that the world doesn't have to approve of you just for existing will reduce your worry. You must accept it without objection. Just being present, even when it hurts, is enough. Empathy also eases pain. Talking with affection stops the mind from warring. Once a person knows themselves, their body stops guarding itself. Losing self-forgiveness eliminates worry. Louise Hay's teachings appeal to me because of this. When the fear returns, we shall find tranquility when we love and embrace the planet. Every part of you, canes, silences, pauses, flaws, is wonderful. Admire them because they belong to you, not because they're perfect. You'll know true love is painless when you can do it. It becomes comprehension. At 50, 60, or 70, just accept life. When conditions are absent, anxiety disappears. Our 7th lesson is done. Enjoy what you can alter and live. Lesson 9 on overcome anxiousness is determine your purpose. At the moment, internal tranquility is a priority, not high goals. When they're 50, 60, or older, many tell me this as if there's nothing else to do. My kids are grown, I'm unemployed, and my routine has changed. It becomes, why do I ponder all day? The question why haunts the mind when life's rhythm changes. You were vital, helpful, and productive for years. You were valued by your activities, not your identity. The body is screaming for rest. Everyone else is alone. An unexpected question occurs from utter silence. Who am I to be unneeded? Emptiness, not terror, causes unease there. That nothingness is full of meaning and stuff. Neither a new career nor a large project lead to maturity. Additionally, the purpose becomes simpler, more empathetic, and deeper. Joy, presence, connection, and gratitude are essential. The goal at 60 is to prove your worth, not conquer the globe. When they retired, several men felt worthless because they messed up their jobs. Regarding their identity, when their children left home, several mothers felt that they lived vicariously through them. No, life does not end when it wants to alter path. The purpose changes throughout time. Transcending has replaced achieving. It is serene and no longer acting. We may discover meaning in our lives if we slow down to water the plants, listen to others, hug the needy, laugh more, and judge less. We sometimes think our mission must be great and evident. Doing that makes concern unnecessary. I join those who spend years searching for their mission, like a treasure buried far away. The goal persists. Each act of kindness, every minute spent living one's principles, achieves this. A 70-year-old woman offered me something significant. Before realizing my purpose is to maintain my peace, I thought life had no meaning. After doing that, everything is evident. Beautiful phrase. Because sometimes the destination is within. Seeing it in action is horrible too, with contentment as the utmost goal at this age. Anxiety arises when you think the future is bad. However, being decent now avoids a need for instruction later. Nothing beats looking ahead and realizing you're living, breathing, and aware. It's useful already. You can feel it by serving without exhaustion, loving without fear, and sharing without waiting. Showing off is unnecessary beyond 50, 60, or older. Your life should inspire, not impress. Inspiration comes from peace, not success. Many elderly people I know read, write, paint, cook, care for animals, gaze at the sky guilt-free, etc. Serves its purpose. Concern comes from a lack of direction, and purpose drives your activities. Purpose will guide you if you get lost. Avoid feeling obligated to do everything. A sense of meaning in life is enough. This is also true when you breathe deeply, feel love, learn, or hear a story. Living with gratitude is your purpose, whether you're someone or not. This finishes Lesson 9. Find small motives, not big ones. Instead than worrying about practicality, enjoy the simple. Sitting quietly and watching the sunset, or cooking a modest dinner for someone you care about are both meaningful. Like gently caring for a plant or having a sincere chat every day. Your worry will turn from a constant voice into a lesson in mindfulness when you realize that. Why? Because a mission motivates you to connect and stay grounded. You'll learn something important with such help. Intervention failed. You may always restart. The 11th anxiety reduction tip is to chat to someone or find a calm spot. People avoid being alone because they hear their own thoughts and feelings. Not because it's bad. You may hear unpleasant things inside. In 50 to 70, after their children leave home, many find themselves in that predicament. Since everyone was so near, the house was silent and time flew by. At that time, what am I going to do with my life now? And repeated fears emerge. Why am I lonely and unfulfilled? My restless leg condition often stems from sitting inappropriately. Background noise and distractions are needed when focusing on oneself. Silence is a weapon. Mirrors are silent. Sometimes that mirror shows you stuff you've been looking at for years. That's hardest. However, when you stop rushing and start listening to yourself, you'll discover something lovely, that there's calmness within you and that the stillness is not empty. Your knowledge is vast. I've seen people who can't be alone for more than 5 minutes before reaching for their phone, TV, etc. Creating assignment. They say if I don't say anything, I'll start thinking, but I argue thinking isn't the problem. Problem, trusting one's own thoughts. Quietness is helpful and harmful. One of its many benefits is learning to be with yourself without judgment or fear. Embracing loneliness alters it. turns into a business instead of punishment. Alone implies alone with yourself. You contain history, experience, and life. Despite being separate, loneliness and abandonment occur concurrently. Abandonment without the other. Being alone with thoughts is lonely. It may be nice to be in that presence if you can appreciate it, because alone time is spent listening to yourself and meeting new people, protecting your feelings from the noise. I've helped many lonely people find companionship. Silence allows them to do great things. Not being alone, but without their love hurt. Doctor, I was afraid of being alone at 72, but now I see how quiet it was. I now go about my day, converse respectfully, reminisce, and laugh without much background noise. The emotional roller coaster of feeling whole alone. Don't believe I'm advocating emotional distance. Not letting others define you is crucial, that you share rather than leave empty. Ability to be alone in a company without feeling abandoned or dependent. Alone time becomes a chance to grow and discover yourself in your 50s and 60s. Solo time is needed to hear your true feelings, needs, and gifts. You also quiet yourself. Stillness is too expensive for anxiety. Relaxation weakens anxious thinking. They stop controlling you when you can see. Conscious observation fades. Set aside quiet time regularly. Spend time alone each day. Only you, no TV, music, or phone, is missing. Your lifeblood. It may be weird at first, but it will become safe. The silence is where one's thoughts are adjusted and spirit finds peace. Being alone makes company an option, not a need. Loneliness is a growing interstate, not a jail. When you stop being frightened, you realize that being alone is sad, and that having someone by your side is brave. However, that is false. The most important thing is being respected. Respecting yourself makes you feel important without others. Learning to love oneself silently reduces anxiety, because scarcity breeds anxiety. However, inner peace exists. Thus, this 10th lesson encourages you to accept isolation, become an ally, and recognize that having you as a friend is a strength. Learn to enjoy solitude to settle your worries. When worry turns into sound calm that may be felt without speaking. Because true freedom comes from being alone without trying to flee. Lesson 11 on anxiety elimination. Stop negative ideas before they take over. The human mind makes it seem simple. As we age, we often think about the past and worry about the future. By 50, 60, or older, you've seen everything. Present becomes a temporary stage. To understand, your mind processes memories, hurts, and losses. Repeat stories. Why did I do that? Had I changed my mind? What would happen if I became sick? Maybe I'm too busy. You encounter the same thing 1,000 times without realizing it. Unknown events give you anguish in advance. Manifestation of anxiety. A constant inner dialogue. You must be aware of one issue. Ideas don't define you. Your inner dialogue is wrong. Just a storyteller repeating her information. Plus, you can alter her speech. Like an old radio, your mind might be tuned to dread, guilt, or a continuous loop. You subconsciously hear that loop all day. Now for the important stuff. You can change it. Not every thought must be accepted. Just watch, recognize, and continue. I try not to think about the worst-case scenario, as countless people have told me. You can't stop thoughts, but you can give in or ignore them, I tell them. Out of restlessness. Makes everything bigger, more important, and more dangerous than it is, creating disasters. Submissive bodies react with horror, as if it were real. Always question yourself, is this happening now or only in my head? When you get a terrible notion, stop feeding it if it's happening now. Mind works through focus. Nutrition depletes. Unresponsiveness to negative is weakness. However, discussing, thinking about, or fearing it strengthens it. Learning to watch without focusing helps reduce anxiety. One must accept what enters the mind at this age, with the same care you give food and music. Ideas can fuel or mesmerize us. Habitual constraints slow mental deterioration. Mindless automatons are worst. When thoughts race, stop, breathe, and ask, is this helping me? If not, change it. Alter it. Authentic, present. Instead of declaring, I don't have the time or energy for that anymore. Realize that you have the experience to tackle the task differently. Since I'm alone, I shouldn't think, nobody needs me. Instead, I can think about it while breathing. Ideas resemble seeds. If you dread, harvest anxiety, sow tranquility. Relax, but don't just say beautiful. Have some faith in them. Mind shifts take time. Gentleness, perseverance, and time shape it. I worked with people who had negative, habitual thinking in the morning. I expect a tough day. Doomed to frailty. I fear the worst is yet to come. I changed something by replacing the first statement with a more pleasant one. Reason. They change their view of life's obstacles instead of letting them define them. In the long run, that reduces anxiety. As with the body, the mind needs rest. And mental rest. Get enough sleep, yet it's easier to feel than think. Reasoning can help when the mind is highly distressed, because the body is always present, taking deep breaths, walking, looking at the sky, and grounding oneself in the present is useful. The intellect lives in all parts save this one. Focusing on the present slows your thinking. That is the most therapeutic and illuminating ever. Keep this information. Anxiety can only be eliminated in the present. If you overthink, don't be so hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself if you're scared. Watch and accept. Let it go peacefully. Clouds are not you, but you are the sky. Every cloud dissipates, regardless of density. Learning to use one's ideas as a tool rather than a herd can help one's mind mature at 60. It takes time to master it. A little daily stillness, less judgment, and self-love. Your thoughts helped you, not hurt you. Be patient with students. Anxiety decreases when you cultivate tranquility because you don't worry about the future or the past. Take a deep breath and relax. The 11th tip for reducing concern is to trust life, trusting the journey and believing in the unseen. I need you to understand something before we continue. My faith isn't strict. It's a worldview without answers. We've seen everything in our 50s, 60s, and beyond. Setbacks, recoveries, letdowns, and life stealing our breath. But we kept going. That alone shows trust. Anxiety comes from fear of what's ahead, the feeling that things will get worse, the certainty that we have a backup plan, and a sense of powerlessness. We have it, but we won't utilize it since life control is hard. To win, trust. Believe that the universe works on a schedule, that doors open when you're ready, that setbacks serve a reason, and that tomorrow's loss can teach you. I'm afraid of what, doctor? I fear solitude. I fear death. This is what many seniors say. They get my response. Knowledge reduces fear. Continue doing so, it disappears. Trusting is not closing your eyes to the truth. Trust involves saying, no matter what, I will it from a place of peace, not panic, and relaxing into life. Anxiety keeps seeing future hazards. See possibilities and gaze ahead like trust. Having a growth attitude and seeing the future as a gift is the best route forward. Despite not seeing the finish, you must trust that every step is important. You may never know why time steals your treasures. Time provides what you need when you're ready. That's faith. When you're old, your religion is more about appreciating the simple things. A day without pain, a surprise present, your grandchildren's smiles, the sun on your skin, a familiar song that brings back memories, etc. It's valuable like life and cannot be replaced by certainty. Faith teaches you're not alone. Whatever you call it, energy, love, spirit, you have something within you that will get you through the dark, days even alone. I've helped others find trust, not control, after years of concern. Teresa, 65, came to me because she was always terrified. So as to die, always vigilant. He examined for every sign. I asked him, what would happen if he decided to trust me one day? She smiled, confused. For her, it means giving up on you in life's struggle. She told me something I remember for months. Doc, no idea what will. I realize I must escape turmoil now. Faith is God trust. The certainty that you will always be okay. Not that everything will be fine. When you trust, you lose fear and the future becomes an opportunity. Be confident in your ability after overcoming seemingly insurmountable difficulties. Because organizes everything carefully. Their life goal is to teach, yet they fail horribly. At 60, Hope is a sign of wisdom and a soul's resolve to give up, no matter how terrible circumstances get. Things occasionally improve because of you. I'll show you a picture. When you choose to instead of, you'll find tranquility in your mindset, not just around the corner. Imagine standing on the beach. Waves vary from moderate to furious. You are the ocean, not a wave. Wave-like anxiety. Trust depth stays the same. Understanding buoyancy is like learning faith. Pushing back will destroy you. If you give in, floating will solve all your problems. Thus, this 12th lesson is more invitation than advice. Have trust. Have trust while confused. Believe despite future worries. Even if you know everything, have faith. Concern will always control you. If you have hope, your soul will find peace. Life is about accepting uncertainty, not having all the answers. My friend, it's real freedom. Listening to someone here is like spiritual walking. You can start living a peaceful life at any age. These two solutions can help you. On no account, 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s are not final decades. Often the beginning point. Life is like that. It teaches you to look when still. Think reasonably, and you'll see that all the things breaking your peace were merely ignorance. Panic attacks hurt. Your inner voice is calling, and you listen, unless you choose to. Becomes teacher. The first class helped us recognize and stop avoiding anxiety, since only the accepted remain. In our second class, we learn how to bring our minds back to the present from anticipation, where they create serious problems. The third lesson taught us the importance of letting life happen. Very little resistance. The fourth lesson taught us that history shapes the present and future, and that reality is a wealth of knowledge. Finally, the patient's terrifying history teaches that embracing truth is the first step to healing. Next was lesson 6. Let go of what you cannot control. Is that crucial? So, Young. Standing firm is often the only way to win a conflict. With knowledge, not resignation. The 8th invitation was to love and accept one's body, knowing that our looks are images of our lives and that aging changes our judgments of beauty rather than reducing it. The 8th addressed us. Kind, tolerant, non-judgmental, and ceases opposing life. Accepting things as they are is the key to relaxation, not longing for perfection. Lesson 9 follows. Be direct. That emptiness seeking meaning when habits change and employment ceases. Once the kids left and peace was declared. There, I discovered that while doing is usually the aim, being calm, alert, grateful is occasionally too. Lesson 10 covered solitude and silence. When lived authentically, those two words, which many fear, open doors to emancipation. Since no one can be really alone, without noise, will not lose direction if accompanied. The 11th lesson helped us transcend negativity by showing us that our thoughts are imposed with love by others. The 12th is to understand that with confidence in life, time, and one's talents, the future need not be risk-free to be worthwhile. If you're optimistic, worry won't control you. Complete these instructions to achieve peace, not perfection. Youth lack maturity. Peace is a finest luxury. Tranquility is more valuable than emotion, and quiet can be more revealing than words. Detachment from control is a common teaching. All want to be controlled by the frightened person. Prudent people trust. Changes frighten apprehensive people. Sage hold him. Worried, they hold on. Being wise means letting go. At 50 or 60, one learns to understand serenity's secret between letting go and trusting. Who came to earth to have everything, but to enjoy it without fear? It adds but purifies. Clarify thoughts, bonds, obligations, and worries. The soul grows clearer, wiser, and less worried as it leaves. Since you don't need to show anything, be coherent. So, this is a vacation memory you'll keep. You are nearing completion and reaching equilibrium, the zenith of delight. Life is about connecting with your soul at breathe, gazing at the sky, and listening to your heart, not years. You're behind schedule. Your brokenness does not mean you are lost. You're learning serenity. And it's most crucial, pal. Your attendance is much appreciated. I struggle to listen to everyone and stay indoors without fear. It's you. That reveals your character. Thanks for taking time to reflect. for being bold enough to feel and staying put when a word provoked emotions. It requires guts. Bravery isn't always loud. Sometimes there's silence. Your refusal to doubt its strength when it was stated to be stronger is appreciated. I appreciate your trust in recovery, however tiny. Anxiety doesn't disappear overnight. Each phrase, halt, and conscious thought build a new worldview within you, more honest, less harsh, and human. I appreciate your souls waking to this point, because not everyone can look back on their lives with wisdom and optimism at 50, 60, or 70. Peace is now valued over worldly riches. Yes, my friend, you are doing it now, learning to relax, avoid chaos, and reduce stress. I want a simple, powerful graphic. Visualize your ideas as a huge sky. The sky above. Our minds process thoughts and feelings. The sky remains above them regardless of darkness. Ultra durable, it won't fracture, chip, or fade. This is your true self. Your life events have shaped you, not broken you. Every setback, death tear, heightened your senses, another reason to be grateful. Consider your narrative with empathy, not remorse. This moment is precious since it sums up all past events, good and bad, because you are alive and well, listening to useless words. Keep in mind that recovery is possible. No matter how often fear visits, you are not it. As the observer, you accept and release it. When you overcome your anxieties, trust others, and let go, your life changes. You are valued for your peace, friendship, respect for your years, and worth. 50, 60, or 70 is not the end, but the beginning of knowledge. True living begins when you stop trying to please others and start living for yourself. Even if it changed, thank your body. Even when tired, thank your mind. Be grateful for your perfect past. First and foremost, thank you for your gift, since it's enough and your only possession. So you can relax without shame, love without fear, laugh without rhyme, and cry without reason. Once you do that, life will be peaceful. That was the greatest victory. Thank you for listening and journeying with me. Our words are less important than your actions. What will you say tonight when you wake up? Do you plan self-care? Forgive yourself how? Do it gently, respectfully, and lovingly. Life should be peaceful for you. You should feel bad. You deserve a night of comfortable sleep, a buoyant attitude, and eternal thanks for your courage. Thanks for choosing Sanner. I admire you for believing life is beautiful despite its flaws. In the morning, softly look in the mirror and say, I am here, I am alive, and that is enough. Start afresh. Just gratitude, peace, and faith. May life embrace you warmly. May time be fair to you, and may you breathe each day. Worry is a transient shadow, not a leader. May you be glad for just being and for never pausing to find methods to live in harmony as you focus your awareness.